have to start here.
appreciate you for coming in on time. Thank you for logging on early. Thank you very, 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 very much. You're very welcome to this financial webinar put together to help us all improve what we are doing, to help us all, learn to manage our finances better, to ensure that we can do what we're supposed to be doing with our money. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We appreciate you. Thank you for all your time. Thank you for logging on. Oops, I see someone in the chat room. Okay. So my name is Dr. Joy Issa. I'm very happy to welcome you. It will be nice to see some chats, some introductions in the chat room, just to say who you are, what you do, so that we can network. One of the things we've noticed as educators is we often don't network enough. We don't chat to each other enough. We don't meet each other enough. And so it's important for us at this point to meet and greet, as it were. Okay, so as you meet and greet in the chat room, yes, please go ahead, meet and greet. Meet and greet, meet and greet. Thank you. Nancy, nice to see you. Welcome, nice to see you. Kemi, nice to see you. Happy International Women's Day to all the wonderful women in the room. We love and appreciate you. Thank you for the amazing work you do teaching our young men and women, equipping the young men and women with the tools they need to be the independent adults that we're trying to raise. Okay, so yes, we're educators, but today is not necessarily about us as educators, but us as people who need help, who are trying to, find some areas of support and strength as we improve ourselves. So I'm not speaking today, which is wonderful. I've got two amazing guests in the room, and I will introduce them. But before I introduce them, again, I just want to put up the link. I think it's in the chat room. Admin has put it in the chat room. So this is the link to a financial assessment that you can take as we begin this process to help, just to help you find out more about yourself. So we'll have time to debrief this even in the room. So our first guest today is Dr. Folakemi Fadaunsi. She's an amazing, a wonderful personality, very energetic, very, as you can see, I like hanging out with people that have doctorates because we all like to learn and like to read. However, so she's a business and transformation enthusiast. She's worked across multiple sectors. And her doctorate is in entrepreneurship and innovation from the International School of Management in France. With these 23 years and more in the financial sector, she has really, she finds joy in helping us solve our financial problems. Currently, she works as Chief CFO in Retail Supermarkets Limited. But really, honestly, I want us to please make welcome with our virtual emojis, Dr. Folakemi. Are you there? I know you're in the room. Fantastic.
Yes, I am here. Good
Awesome,
evening. It's nice to see you.
I should have brought my maracas. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love doing this, as you can tell.
Absolutely, absolutely. So where do we start on this, our financial journey?
Okay.
would you like to share your screen or so
No,
your
I will just speak. Do you want me to go ahead?
Oh yes, please go ahead.
Okay, great, great. So good evening, everyone. If this was a physical meeting, this is the time when I'll be giving you high fives and saying it's so great. It's so great to see you. But I can't see anyone, but trust me, I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you for having me. So for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to be talking about how to let me call it how to optimize your income, right? How to ensure that you're managing your finances correctly, well, so that in the long run, you are also well provided for. That's my objective tonight, to help you see that there is actually a process that you can follow to ensure that you are managing your finances well and you are able to keep on going for the long run. I think I have about 10 minutes to speak, if I'm correct. And so I'm going to try and be quite fast, and hopefully maybe during the course of this session, when the questions start coming in, then I'll be able to address more specific questions. So I have about over 23 years experience as a finance professional. And in the course of my career, I've had to do this a lot, speaking to various groups of people about money, and from different angles, including from the angle of, okay, emotions. What has your emotions got to do with your money? Different angles, managing money in the home, managing the finances of an organization, different angles. And from all of these experiences, at some point, I decided to curate some 6 steps to managing your finances better, just to help people relate to this process. I'm aware that many people don't like numbers unless it is credit alerts. When it's an alert on your phone saying, your account has been credited, yes, people like that. But when it comes to, okay, so how much have I spent? How much do I have left? It gets very tricky for most people. So what I've tried to do is to simplify the process and just give you a process that I believe anyone can relate to, even if you don't like numbers, because I'm not going to be throwing out numbers tonight. So I'll walk you through 6 key steps. You are probably not going to see these 6 key steps listed, at least not in this order and in this way anywhere, because they are basically from all the workshops I have taken, from all the books I have read, presentations I have made, narrowed down to 6 steps. So the first step, if you truly want to be financially free and you want to manage your finances well, the first step is to ensure that you have a steady source of income. Now, I want to believe that most of the people on this call tonight are teachers, educators. Thank you so much for educating us and educate. I have a special respect for teachers, trust me, because I'm not sure that I want to be left in the same room with a group of youngsters for a long time trying to teach them anything. Yeah, so I mean, so I want to believe that because you are educators, you probably have a steady source of income from your salary, right?
Yes.
So, and that is simply the first step. Even when I speak to business owners, I still tell them you must have a steady source of income, and the sales from your business is not necessarily your steady source of income. You need to put yourself on a salary, right? If you are an entrepreneur, because the money that belongs to the business belongs to the business. The business has a life of its own. And if you want it to continue into the future, then you must separate your personal expenses from the money for your business. So you have a steady source of income, and that's step 1. Now, when you have a steady source of income, the challenge then is the money that comes into your hands. How do you handle that money? And that is where, your wealth creation begins from step 2. It is not enough to just have a steady source of income. Wealth creation actually begins from step 2. Interestingly, in the course of my doctorate program, I came across some research that because I did my PhD in entrepreneurship and innovation, and in trying to understand how social enterprises and how development happens in various countries, and looking at Nigeria in particular, I wrote a paper about how about poverty, about it was more around what results in development and what hinders development. And so I had to look at research around the poverty level in Nigeria, and it was interesting for me to realize that I went back into statistics data for 20 years, and realized that over the course of the last 10 years, it's been shown that more money gets into the hands of women in Nigeria than men. Very interesting fact. Now, note that I said more money gets into your hands, not necessarily that you make the money, but the money gets into your hands somehow,
Right.
whether as gifts or as income, whatever way, more money. More women are above the poverty line than men. Now, whether that statistics is accurate or not is another thing entirely. But like I said, having the money in your hands does not automatically translate to wealth. So wealth creation starts from step 2. So what is step 2? Step 2 is to live below your income. Now, I always say this is my quotable quote. So if you are quoting this, please remember to put my name. I'm just joking. So if you spend 100% of what you make, you are living above your means. I'll say it again.
Can I just, before you say it again, can I remind you that we are teachers on this platform?
Yes.
And our income is quite, I know you will get there, but
I will
just
get there.
putting it out there that the income is not enough to live
It is not
on.
even enough. I know.
Not talk of living above or
I know.
So we're struggling.
I know. Yes. So I'll say it again, and then I will add on to that. So if you spend 100% of your income, in other words, you make 100,000 every month and you spend 100,000 every month. In fact, some people spend more than their income. They borrow from friends and family and everything. You're already living above your means. Now, this is difficult to swallow, especially when you think that the amount of money you're making is not enough. And I've been there, trust me. I remember when I started my career 24 years ago, my salary was 25,000 naira. I was living in Shasha in Lagos State, if you know where that is, on your way to Egbeda. And my office was on Gerard Road in Ikoyi. And most of my clients were in VI. So I barely even had enough money to take me to the office, right? So eating was out of the question. I couldn't eat. There was no way to eat out of that money. But thankfully, most of my clients, because I was an auditor, most of my clients would give me lunch. So I had to bank on that lunch. And trust me, it helped me to keep in shape. I was very fit. I did a lot of walking and a lot of skipping meals, so I was very slim and fit. But that's on a lighter note. So I understand what it means to feel like you're not earning enough, and I'm not trying to downplay that fact. It is a fact that many people are in roles where you feel like, this is not even enough. So how do I even spend less? However, what I'm saying is not easy to do. If it was easy, everybody would do it and everybody would be rich, right? But I do know from my own personal experience and from what I have seen so far that it is possible. I do know that it is possible. I know it is not easy, but I also know that it is possible. Okay, so that's step 2, to try and live below your means. And what I usually recommend is a rule of thumb that I use, which is 70-20-10. What do I mean by that? If you are owing people, use 10% of your income to start paying down what you owe, if possible. Save 20% and spend only 70%. Now, sometimes you need to switch the 20 and the 10, depending on how much you're owing people. But if you're not owing anyone, then you have more money to either spend or save. I recommend.
Sorry, please go over your formula again. Your percentage.
So my formula And like I said, I'm not reading this out from a book based on personal observation and study. 70, 20, 10. Live on 70% of your income. Save 20%. Use 10% to start paying down your loans, especially if you have a loan where someone is charging you interest. You cannot afford it, not in this economy, especially now. Start to think of how to get out of it, right? However, if you are not owing anyone, then you may want to, or if what you're owing is more, then you may want to save 10% and use 20% to start paying up. Or if you're not owing anyone, then you can decide to spend 90%, save 10, or save 30%. Now, I've done all sorts of combinations in the course of my career. I have literally been in a situation where I saved 50%, and it wasn't because I was earning a lot. I simply just cut my expenses to the barest minimum, lived within 50% just so I can save. And then, I've also been in a situation where, you know what, I can live on 20%. Can live on 20% because I have some big things I want to do, and I must show the people that want to invest in me that I am ready by showing that I actually have something I am also going to put in the investment. So, like I said, we have different circumstances, different people. It may not necessarily be easy, but it is possible. That is step 2. Step 3. So what do you do? So, I've actually taken step 3 along with 2, which is to save. Now, saving is very important. When you don't save, what you're doing is that you're not putting yourself in the pathway to becoming financially free, or to becoming at least comfortable, even if you are not financially free yet. And you are also not paying your future self. Remember that no matter how much you love education, a day will come when you cannot teach, even if you want to. A day will come when you're too old, you can't teach, right?
Yeah.
You would have to retire. What is the plan? So yes, your school or your employer may have a pension fund, set aside for you, but in so many cases, the pension fund is hardly ever enough. That cannot be the only plan. Your children cannot be the only plan. Gone are the days when people think, okay, if I've raised my children well, then they'll take care of me in the future. I say this with every sense of caution. I'm not sure that the children of this generation are thinking of that. In fact, personally, my daughter is in the union now. Every time I visit and she says, "Mommy, oh, I bought you a mug," or "Oh, Mommy, let me buy you Mr. Juice. Oh, let me pay." You cannot imagine kind of joy I feel in my heart.
Amazing.
Because it just makes me feel like, okay, so yes, she has empathy. She's thinking of giving to me as well. But you cannot bank on that as your retirement plan. So every time you don't have any savings, no matter how difficult it may look, what you're doing basically is you are robbing your future self of comfort. You are robbing your future self. That's 60-year-old, that's 65-year-old that is going to need that money. You're not paying that 65-year-old. You are paying everybody else except your future self. So think about it that way, and hopefully that will provoke you, even when it is not convenient, to set some money aside. That is step 3. Step 4 is, so now you have some money saved, no matter how small. It is easier for you to say, please help me. And then when the person says, okay, so how much do you have yourself?
Yes.
You're able to say, okay, I have 5,000 naira. It's an easier conversation than to say, you know what, I don't have anything. I'm just expecting you to just give me everything I need. It's more difficult, because that person, no matter how kind, cannot see effort on your part. So even if you're thinking of starting a business, you're thinking of, I need another source of income, your ability to put something down of your own shows that you are really serious about it, and opens you up for opportunities with those people that are able to help you. So step 4 is to invest that you have saved, but not all of it at first. Now, I have some few rules of thumb for investments also, and I'm going to share very quickly. Step 4 is invest. Now, invest can mean you buy shares, but we all know that if you really do not understand how that works, it is not easy money. It is not quick to make any returns. So that may not be your best bet. right? If you put your money in savings accounts, it will only yield maybe 0 point something percent. It doesn't, it not yield anything that makes sense. So investing is really what you need to do. However, I know that we're not financial experts, we're educators. So how then do we invest? So I'll give 3 quick rules of thumb. Number 1, don't invest in anything you don't understand. Trust me, you are very intelligent. If you don't understand it, it doesn't make sense. I'll say it again. You're a very intelligent person. If someone is saying, just bring 2 people, and then you bring 2 people and say, what are you selling? We are not selling anything. What service are we providing? We are not providing any service. Well, so what am I required to just bring 2 people, and then the 2 people now bring 2 people, and then we will now multiply your money by 5. Does that make sense? That's the question you need to ask. What are we selling? There's no product, there is no service backing it up. It's probably a scam waiting to happen. So don't invest in anything you don't understand. Remember, we're still on step 4. So I'm now running through the quick investment tips. 1, don't invest in anything you don't understand. 2, don't put all your money in the same thing. Even when you understand it, they say, okay, we're going to buy bottles of water, and then we're going to take it to church, and then we're going to sell it. All your savings is 10,000 naira. You cannot put all the 10,000 naira, because what if something goes wrong, right? Yeah. Even the best of investments has some element of risk in it. So never ever put all of your money in the same thing. That's step 2. That's the second rule of thumb, rather.
Yeah.
With respect
step 4.2.
Yes, 4.2. The second rule of thumb with respect to investment. Number 1, you must understand it. Number 2, don't put all of your money in the same thing. Let me leave it at that. And then, we'll go along. Then the 5th thing. So, and now I have touched a little bit on the 5th step, which is diversify your investment. Okay, so the third rule of thumb with respect to investing that I forgot to mention is, at a certain age, I recommend that you don't do it alone. You are trying to invest and you're over 40. Don't do it by yourself. You do not have time to waste time. You do not have time for trial and error at 40. When you're younger, maybe you're in your 20s, early 30s, if one doesn't work, another will work, have a lot of time on your side, all things being equal. Once you cross 40, please look for a financial advisor. Get somebody to counsel you. This is where to put your money. This is what is working. You don't have time to be doing trial and error or testing all sorts of things that may not make sense at the end of the day. You do not have that luxury of time. So that's my third rule of thumb with respect to investing. So step 5 is diversify your investment. So many times we think that investing means, I must go and buy shares, or I must
buy land.
Or buy land. When will land yield, please? When? At what point will land yield? So I did buy land when I was younger. I think I was in my maybe late 20s or early 30s. I sold it several times, several years later, for several times over.
More.
Right? More than 1,000 times more than what I bought it for. It made sense when I bought it because I bought it very early, right? If you ask me to buy land now, the question I'll ask myself, what do I want to do with the land? If it's a house I want, why don't I buy a flat that is already finished so that I can rent it out and start making money? At what point will it start yielding? Unless you're looking for long-term investments, when you are thinking about investment, all you're thinking about is buy land and then do you have the money to buy land? Really? Or someone is saying, okay, we buy now, we are going to build for you. Do you trust the developer? When will it be ready? So don't be sure that, if it is short-term returns you're looking for, how to augment your income, if that is what you're looking for, then real estate is not your deal. And I love real estate. I've worked with a real estate company before as finance director. I totally love real estate. I will invest in real estate over and over again, but it is not a short-term investment. So if what you are looking for is something to yield money today, then the kind of things you are looking for are businesses, small businesses that you can put money into and get your returns. Those are the kind of things, or treasury bills, that 180 days treasury bills, those kind of things. The returns may not be very high, but the risk is low. And then for small businesses, your friend is into fashion. She needs money to quickly deliver something. If everything is right and you invest in that, she can deliver your money back to you with interest on top of it. it is almost immediate return. So diversify your investment when you can. Speak to someone that can show you all the different options so that you are not putting all your money in the same place. That is step 5. Step 6 is repeat the process. Repeat the process, and that is how wealth grows. So your friend returns your money with interest. You take that interest again. You take the capital and reinvest it. You take the interest also and say, okay, where do I want to invest this interest? And the money starts to multiply. It is actually arithmetic. It starts to increase. It starts to grow. Remember, you are still living below your income. You are still saving 10 to 30%. You are still putting the money you have saved in different investments. It is bringing return. You are returning the capital into the investment and adding more because you now have profit, and you're still living below your means, and it starts to grow. I'm hoping that this makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Wow. It's
So I'm almost certain that I've taken more than the time you gave me.
no, that's fine.
Thank you very much.
You are answering a lot
I
of the
think I'll
questions
stop there.
already. You are answering a lot of the questions already, so we're so grateful. Thank you so much for sharing these 6 key steps to optimizing our income, no matter how small, no matter how big. So guys in the chat room, post your questions. Very, very interesting. Any questions you have? I already have one question. I'm thinking treasury bills. For some of us, when we hear some of those things, we're like, treasury bills. First of all, I don't understand. Like you've advised us, don't invest in something you don't understand. But how do we even begin this step of investment? Because a lot of us, we're into our books, we're into our classrooms. That's where we are. So how do we even begin to expand our lenses and to look out for these people that can advise us on how to invest coins?
Okay. So treasury bills are actually simple. I don't want to mention names. I've bought treasury bills over and over again. I've never lost money because it's next to impossible to really lose money with government treasury bills. They are supposed to be the standard for zero risk investments, right?
Okay.
And it's just about, but I don't want to mention the name of any company on this,
Of course.
but I can share maybe offline. The company that I use, they buy my treasury bills. They tell me this is the rates. I say whether I want it or not. I like the rates. I put my money in it. I get my money back with interest, and I've done it over and over and over. Never lost money doing treasury bills because, like I said, this is the standard for zero risk investment. So it's pretty difficult to lose money with treasury bills. So there are also of course other types of investments. I don't want to complicate this, but I mean, even starting from where you are, you're a teacher. I know that for many teachers, they have extra classes that they do for students outside of their
give lessons, as we call them.
Lessons, as we call them, right? And in all sincerity, I sometimes think that there are so many interesting ways of doing these lessons that can yield a whole lot more than probably the way we're doing it right now. I think the way most teachers do it is you have a parent that approaches you, or you approach a parent and say, okay, I can teach your child, and then you teach the child, you get paid. It's only one person's efforts. You have a very limited number of hours that you can put in a day, because of course you still have to go to work, and it sort of limits how much money you can make. It is a fantastic idea, but how can we do it better so you make more? Is a question I've been turning around in my head, right, for a while, not even before this workshop. And I'm not a teacher, but I mean, I see I've employed teachers and all of that. One is, I mean, I've seen some very interesting ed tech companies that have platforms where there are teachers, you can book a teacher's time, but it is still for that teacher, right? Now, putting myself in the teacher's shoes, for that teacher, it is still the number of hours you have to sell, in quotes, that you can give. And so it limits how much money you can make. How about if you can do this differently? what if it's a group of students that have similar needs? And then you can charge all of, and then it is online, and then you can teach and get paid. I mean, we need to think about those things differently, because every
Yes.
single person, even the people that are making a whole lot of money, trust me, right now I'm thinking of how am I going to make dollars? What can I export?
Yes.
What can I export?
Exactly.
Even though I have my day job, but everybody is thinking on their feet right now, what else can I do? So,
That's
I mean,
right.
what about a group of teachers? You are teaching physics, I am teaching chemistry, you are teaching biology. Come together and say, okay, online, join us, log in, clock in, and then you pay per hour or something, and then you teach the children, and they take tests and everything, and you send the reports to the parents and all of that. You are not commuting. What you need to buy is data, and ensure that you have a laptop that works, that you can, so you need to probably think about it differently, because you can start from where you are. That is a service that you can sell, and it's just a question of how can I sell more and not be limited to just the number of hours that I have, giving it to only one child or giving it to only one family, and then limiting the amount of income I can make from that. And as I make the money, also remember 70-20-10 or 70-30, whichever way. The
Absolutely.
same rule applies, so that, I mean, and I think that rule also forces you to think of other ways of making money. So we talked about treasury bills. We talked about, okay, selling your service as a teacher. There are also ways you can sell your service. It's something I have been toying with in my mind, and maybe the idea is not for me, because I realize that sometimes ideas drop in my mind that in my head, even me, I'm wondering, why am I, maybe because maybe because my line of study is entrepreneurship and innovation. I guess all sorts of ideas that I don't even know the first step in how to convert it to anything. I'm wondering if it is for me or if I just need to throw it out there for somebody to go and run with. And one
Please
of it
throw them
is the
out.
fact that one of it is the fact that, towards exam time, I always wish there was a place I could go to and just find my son's assessments for my son's class and let him just practice.
Right. Like an exam practice
Like an
center.
exam practice center that is online, where my son can just go and let me see whether he's really ready for this exam, because sometimes I can't tell. We has read, we've practiced, we've done everything, and then, I mean, I really wish there was a way I could just test, and sometimes I don't have all the time to sit with him and be asking him all the questions. And at some point I was thinking to myself, am I sure I won't just go and look for teachers, look for physics teacher, biology, and say, okay, please give me all the questions. I'll pay for the questions. I just need somebody to set questions for him that covers everything he has done. I wish there was some place online where I can just go to and see those questions and just pay. Each term I pay.
And
He takes
download.
the test.
Yeah.
No, he can even take it right there. He takes the test. It calls him.
Right.
You tell me, okay, this is the score. Go and improve. Go and learn this. Go and read this area. And that is it. Next time I come again, or during midterm tests, I pay and it shows me the curriculum for the term. Okay, it takes. I've talked about that over and over. I said, okay, so should I go? I don't have the time to
That
go and
is
be.
such a
It's probably not for
wonderful
me.
idea. Wonderful
So
idea.
I mean, I guess, like I said, everyone is thinking on their feet right now on how else can I, and when you have something online, then your market is not just Nigeria, right? Your market is whoever
Yes.
needs it anywhere
In the
in the
world.
world. So I guess we all need to keep thinking of ways to get this done.
I attended a seminar not too long ago that says, even though we function locally, we should think globally. So we shouldn't just think as a teacher in this one school, in this one space, but we should think globally so that we can meet our needs. Because yes, we all agree that our income is not necessarily enough to meet the needs. And we still have to apply this principle, of saving, living off, and either repaying debt or investing. And so how to now try and balance, stay without for a while, to deprive ourselves of certain things for a limited period, to delay things before we move on. I mean, I have a little example. I remember when I first tried I think it was 2008 to register for my doctorate at that time. By the time I did the calculations, I registered, paid the $65. But when I did the calculations, travel and things, my children were really young. I saw that the family could not handle that expense. And I had to let it go. So sometimes it's really, like you said, finding that balance. We might, yes, have to skip a meal or two in this economy, especially, but the goal is, can we begin to save for our future selves? I really love that statement you said. Let's save for our future selves, and you know, not deprive ourselves. Someone is saying in the chat room, our take home is not taking us home.
I know,
So
right?
even, you know, begin to you know, what do we do? And what you said is we have to find alternative sources of income.
Yes,
Fantastic,
definitely.
fantastic, fantastic. Oh, yes. So someone asked in the room, what commodities do you recommend to invest in? I don't know if you have any recommendations on commodities.
I have never invested in commodities, so I'm probably not in the best position to recommend. And even if I had done it, I hesitate to give a blanket recommendation because, I mean, trust me, investment is not the same for everybody. We all have different lifestyles, different income levels, different risk appetites. You know, my appetite for risk may be higher than yours. So if I don't go and invest in gold, and maybe I have appetite for it and you don't, you know, and then it can be a challenge to just give a blanket recommendation. Typically, if someone wants to advise you on investments, what they will do is to sit with you and understand your lifestyle, understand your income, understand your plans, and then based on that, help you to come up with options of where to invest. And there are quite a number of organizations that can do that. Like I said, I'm trying not to mention names, but I can chat with Dr. Joy offline and just give a few recommendations. But as long as you understand what you are doing, please do not invest in what you don't understand. As long as you understand what you are doing and you can see how your money is going to come back and with interest, then of course, why not?
Thank you so much, Dr. Falake. We appreciate you. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for the 6 key steps. I hope we all wrote down those steps. Number 1, have a steady source of income. It doesn't matter the size, but we have a steady source of income. Live below your income. So have the 70-20-10. You live off of 70%. You try and save 20%. And the 10% is either you're repaying your debt or you try and invest in something, or maybe you now save that for a time period. So these are not cast in stone, because some people will do 50, 30, 20, you know, but, you know, on average for us, a lot of us, especially as educators, we don't earn so much. So sometimes we live off of 70. So the recommendation is try not to spend 100% of your income every single month. Number 3, try and save. Number 4, invest some of that savings. Number 5, diversify your investment. And number 6, repeat the process. Love it. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have our next speaker who has lots of suggestions for what to do, lots of tools, lots of strategies that we can use. And so honestly, it's really, really, really power-packed today. These ladies are on fire. On fire. So I would like to bring up our next speaker. Let's see if, okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
I don't know if you can see me.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
I am going to pin your video in a minute.
Okay.
So that, okay, there you are.
Fantastic. I don't know if you can see me. I've been actually trying to adjust the light.
Light can be weird.
So
we can see you. We can see you.
All right.
Yes.
So good evening,
I do want
everyone.
to I do want to read a bit of your bio, because I think it's important.
Go ahead.
We need to know who's speaking. So Miss T, as I like to call her, Miss C is really an amazing, her side gig is that she likes to gist. She's an amazing compare in her side gig. You know, Dr. Falakemi said, look, you might have one or two things you're doing on the side to help augment your income. So it's not just about earning millions and millions and millions, but deploy your interests. So Ms. T has provided project oversight on department audits, NMPC. You can see a lot of financial, I mean, you can read the bio, you can see a lot of investment training, supporting the Americas executive directors, USA, amongst others. She's just a wealth of experience, honestly, her energy, her passion, and she now serves as Executive Vice President for Africa and Europe for Reach. And Reach is this company that really has tools, curricula, an app that can support with building financial wellness, okay? So please make welcome Miss T. Let's see those emojis in the chat room. Let's see your virtual claps. Thank you very much. So
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Joy, as I like to call her. And now that I know she likes being around doctors, let me quickly go and get my own PhD.
absolutely.
Good evening, everyone. It's just really a pleasure to be here. And I'm going to, if you allow me to share my screen. Let me see. Okay.
You should be able to share.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So as Dr. Joy said, I do like to compare. So that's one so I wanted to introduce that apart from other work that I do, I like being and having the opportunity to just make people happy and make sessions and events go really well. So that's really that's what I enjoy doing on the side. And when you've been facilitating for so long, it just came naturally that people will now ask for me to do that. So that's part of the reason why I do that on the side. But as Dr. Falakemi said, and also Dr. Joy, that's an example of something you can do on the side to make extra money. It really is looking at what you are passionate about and how you can really, if you're doing what you're passionate about, money usually follows. And I'm saying usually because all of you are passionate as educators, and unfortunately, maybe the money you're earning right now
it's not taking us home. The take home is not taking us home.
I like that. I'm gonna have to steal that to use that. What you're offering me will not take me home. Or that's what I'm going to say. But you know, we are working on that. I think in Nigeria there's really I think we're coming up with some ways and awareness to really kind of get our leaders, both in the private and public sector, to really recognize the role of educators. And I think it's very important. So, you know, again, similar to what Dr. Falakemi said, I want to really, really thank you for your thankless job, because it is truly what you do that helps young people, helps our young adults really become who they can and should be in future. So thank you for your investment in young people. And it is, and also from that is what I would segue into talking about Reach. It's because of that investment in young people that my mentee, and let me repeat that, my mentee started Reach.
Wow.
Someone that I mentored in college started Reach. So
Wow.
so don't also, look down on the people that you are training now or educating now, because based on how you train them and based on how you interact with them, they might end up asking you to join them on a phenomenal journey. and to be part of that, if you will, I like to call it like that I hitched my wagon, or should I use the word train.
Yeah.
Hitched my train, on J.R. Kanu's train to make sure that together we can really actually make a huge impact. And not just making an impact in people's lives, but also making money. So let's be clear that
Yeah.
we are not, in fact, he was a little bit upset that I'm offering all these tools today without asking for money. But I was like, Dr. Joy is my personal, and this
We
is
are so
national.
grateful for these
And this is,
tools for
yeah,
free, and
yeah,
they cost a bit of money.
they do, and I'll share that with you towards the end. And so I said it's International Women's Day today, and the whole month we're celebrating women. And I just thought, hey, this is also a way for us to give back, and we can really kind of, if you will, amplify the importance of supporting educators, supporting the work that you do. So it's really an honor for me to be here and for me to offer these tools that you can use as you continue to, again, work on your journey to always kind of updating your financial wellness. So that's important for me to say. So with that, I'll move to say that I usually do, I've already done the welcome piece. So I usually would do an icebreaker, introduce Reach and what Reach does, talk about the Money Brain book and the game, and then go through another group activity that we can do online. And then in between that, talk about why Money Brain matters for you, and then do another group activity. And then the last bit that I didn't share with Dr. Joy that I'm going to also throw in as a bonus for you is, looking at personal retrospective. It's a tool that, again, we have developed to really help you look, for you to kind of move forward and plan. It's a planning tool. So everybody sets goals, but this is a little bit different because it helps you look at all the things that happened in the past and how they actually help to inform your future and your present. So, I mean, your present and your future. So I'll share that personal retrospective with you. And then, all the places where you can look for us on social media, I'll also let you see that. And then I guess closing remarks will be question and answer question.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes. So let's begin. If you had $1 million right now, what would be the first thing you do with it? So I want you to take a minute, maybe 2 minutes, write it in the chat. And maybe Dr. Joy, you can kind of read it out as people are putting it on the chat in the interest of time.
If I had $1 million right now,
what would you do? What would be the first thing?
Well, after this, now I know I need to go find treasury bills.
There you go.
I need to go find treasury bills to invest in. I wouldn't have thought of that before.
Dr. Falakemi in the house. Fantastic.
Yes.
Treasury bill.
Somebody's saying I'll put it in Stanbic money market first before deciding what to do with it.
Yeah,
that's
very
great.
important. All right.
Somebody's saying she'll multiply it. Wow, please enlighten us. Share your secrets so that we know what to do, how to multiply. But yeah, I guess, I would just invest. Someone says, buy an estate for young people that allows me to rent out small apartments at affordable rates. I'd reinvest the cost of sales and annual rent in my education dreams. And she would consult a financial advisor first. Fantastic. Another one, I'll invest in Forex, goods, supplies. Wow, some people are ready for this $1 million already. They're ready to roll.
Any other? Maybe we'll do one last one and then I'll move on to the next question.
Yes, we have 3 more. Invest on some treasury bills, invest in oil and gas, buy apartments, Someone says, I'll invest in cryptocurrencies. Oh, someone says, I'll give it to the current speaker.
Oh,
Someone
yay.
is ready to get to help her invest.
Yay, I need that. I need that. Please,
Someone
please
says, I'll
pin
fix
that
it.
person for me. Make sure I can follow up with her.
I will. Her name is Miss G.
That's
She's one of our
fantastic.
alumni and faculty as well. Someone
Oh,
said,
wow.
Robert Kettler says, I'll start a micro lending business.
All right. Fantastic. So all wonderful. And again, I don't want to sound kind of overly optimistic, but I have to warn you, I do always think of my glass half full. It's never half empty. And what that means is really this part is really about your mindset. And so again, imagine you have a chance to give a piece of financial advice to your younger self. What would it be? Think about yourself about 20 years ago or 15 years ago. What advice would you have given to your younger self?
I mean, I would say save more.
Mm.
Yeah, someone says, don't spend all your free money.
Mhm.
Because, you know, as students, as, you know, young people, one auntie, then you go and visit auntie so-and-so and they give you, you know, some extra change, loose change
Yeah.
here or
Mhm.
there. Yeah, so it makes sense. You used to get free money in those days. Someone says he would, I think this is a guy, Adekemi says, they'll tell their younger selves, delay your gratifications.
Mm.
I like that one. Someone says, buy shares globally. The designers can wait. Wow.
Wow.
Good advice. Buy shares globally. So like buy international shares, perhaps,
Yeah.
Shimi. Mobology says, start business while schooling in order to have what to do after graduation. Okay, so don't wait for the dream job. Just start doing something. Acquire financial knowledge, save more, invest. Some Mercy says, invest more in self-development and networking. There we go. Nice.
Fantastic. All right. So again, this the goal of this is again to help you think back at some of the, you know, first of all, your mindset, you know, how are you, what do you, you know, how do you think? And what are some of the ways that you can start really setting up your mind for good financial wellness, for optimizing what you already have, for diversifying what you may have, you know, and really look at all the things that Dr. Falakini talked about. I really like the fact that she broke everything down into 6 steps. And you'll see that also at Reach, we like to do things in a way that you would remember, if you've already taken the FACES test, FACES stands, F stands for something, A stands for something, C stands for something. So that way you can always remember your spending personality and things like that. And then your financial health. It's always important to check in, just like with your personal health. It's always good for you to really kind of, you know, have a pulse on your financial health. So, so as what happened was, JR started to basically think through what he wanted to do when he came to back to Nigeria from studying abroad. And you know, and what happened was, because he had worked in different places, he really felt like, well, let me really look at how I can help young people like myself. And so the journey kind of started where, you know, Reach is really about reaching for your goals. So it's kind of maybe sound cheesy, but it's reaching for your goals, reaching your dreams, whatever it is that you put your mind to, you can actually achieve it, you can reach it. And so even our tagline says that your best life is within reach. And again, the other piece is that finances seem to be the overwhelming thing that he just found himself really thinking about. I went to a private university, and that's how I met him, a private Christian university. And of course, we graduated at different times. So I was still giving back to this private university. In fact, I started a book grant to support young Black students that come not only from Africa, but also from the United States who can't afford to buy books after they've struggled and struggled to pay for tuition. So that's how we met. And he was even reminding me yesterday that the book grant that I started, and I galvanized a lot of the alumni to support by donating money towards the book grant. He got $1,500, and that back then, that was a lot of money for him because he was studying. Yeah, he was studying engineering. And so when someone is studying engineering, I mean, like I said, the tuition was already high in dollars, and he comes from very humble background. His mother was a civil servant, and his father, just recently, I mean, at the time he was going to school, just became a lawyer. So his father was a young lawyer, his mother was a civil servant. So between their income, he was even trying to figure out, he didn't know how he was going to pay for tuition, and he was also the oldest of
Wow.
4 children. So it was really important for him to really start a business that came out of his passion around helping other people navigate how to make sure that they can have money and grow their money so that they can become more independent. So that's how the Reach journey started. And you would see that if you don't already have the app, please download it. And I think Dr. Joy, I think you guys have sent that to everyone in terms of the app
The
link.
links, yes, we posted
Yes,
to the chat room, so you can just click on
exactly.
it so it opens up.
Yeah.
Again, you need to do some of these things now because they're not free outside of this room.
Yes, we'll give you at least because the app, you have to pair it with your bank accounts and things like that. And trust me, it's totally secure. We went through a lot of due diligence to make sure that the app, I mean, it's been around now for about 6-7 years. I think this is actually the 7th year, and that's why we're moving from it being free to now having people to subscribe. So there's going to be some interesting things that we added, but here's what it is. It's an app that helps you really interpret the transaction data from your banks or mobile money to really look at how you're spending. Yeah, so it helps you to see your spending and also helps you to set goals that you can, that will help you to reach a more, as we call it, reach to live better, more hopeful and confident lives. So that's really the goal. And the focus was on youth. But again, the more we started talking about this, the more we felt that, yes, even when you see the book says it's helping people in their 20s and 30s. But really, as you heard Dr. Falakemi, you don't ever stop being financially well. You need to, it's a lifelong journey. And yes, maybe we need to focus on young people and really inspire, engage, and get them to really take it seriously, because once they get it within their 20s and 30s, hopefully it will follow them throughout their lifetime. So yes, the mobile app is about budgets and expenses. It kind of helps you to even visualize your big dreams by having vision boards. And then, you can then, not only would you have your dreams, but you can also have a way to track And that's very important in all the things that we are sharing with you. And then, of course, it's a free resource now as a financial health check. And then there's also the budget calculator that's also part of the app. And so you should have taken your financial health check. And I took mine again recently, and it's saying that I'm actually fair. You know, the rating was fair. You have either, I think, poor, fair, good, and excellent, I believe is the rates for your financial health check. And I'm still on the fair level. So you can imagine I have a 7.2 is the rating out of 12. So you can, you know, so you can literally keep checking and keep really looking at what are you doing that you need to do better? What are some of the areas that you need to pay attention to? When the app came out, we did both iOS platform and Android. And very quickly, because of, you know, Africa, and now that Nigeria is happening to all of us, we quickly found out that more people use Android phones than
Okay.
iOS. So because of that, we focused more on Android users. And so just so that you know, the next once we start offering it for a fee that you can download, again, still on the different on Apple and Google Play store, you know, it's going to be open again to iOS, like myself. So for instance, I only have an iPhone, and unfortunately, I don't have the app on my iPhone. When it originally came out, actually I did, but now that it's only on Android, I'm having to do all of my budgeting and goal setting and all that manually. And I have to tell you, even as someone that's inside the organization, I can't wait till I can do all of that on my phone.
Okay,
So
I have a
that's
question
important.
though.
Sure.
So this is different. Is this slightly different? The health check is different from the budget calculator, because the budget calculator, I think we can do online.
Yes, but we also have the budget calculator within the app. So these are things that are inside the app already that we're sharing with you. So budgets and expenses are inside the app. Vision boards are also inside the app that you can use to continue to you know, track your goals and dreams, if you will. And then we also included in the app the financial health check, which is the test that you got the link for that everybody should have taken. So you can maybe share your numbers. How many of you are are more than fair, or how many of you are in the poor you know, category, and you really need to work on improving your financial health. So those are those are resources that are built into the app already as we're talking. So the budget calculator is also built into the app, but you can also find a budget calculator. I'm sure you can also find a financial health check somehow online, but I'm sharing with you what we have within the app that is called the Reach app, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Mm.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So moving on to the next. This is the book. The book is called Money Brain. And everything that we've done so far regarding financial wellness kind of came out of this book called Money Brain. It's the cost of it right now in Nigeria is about, I think it's now because of all the increase in cost and all that, it's now 12,000 naira for a book.
Wow.
And you can also get it on Amazon. But again, we'll do our best to see about we're working on some sort of discount for all of you online.
Please, we
To
need our
see
special
about,
discounts as
so
well. You
that
know,
you can,
we're not being greedy. We're just, you know, asking for as much as we can on this special day. So thank you so much for the free test. Amazing. The links to the app that we can use to implement. So Dr. Falakemi has talked about budgeting and saving and all of that. So this app can help us do that. And we don't
Yes.
have to do the mental calculations, and we can get information from the book. So do we have an idea of how much the book, the possible discounted price?
We'll try to at least give you 30%.
Okay.
That's what we're
Okay.
working on.
All right.
And then the other thing is, because we know that all of our audience are not in one location, so
No.
we're trying to see about how we can make sure that you can still access the book from whatever location you're in.
Thank you very much.
And I'll share more about Reach's footprint. We're actually in several African countries, and we'll just try to get the books to some of those African countries that are there, or one or two of our partners there might still even have the book in their
You know, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but this is a
go ahead.
room full of teachers, and I'm sure they're already looking at the clocks and saying, okay, we have 10 more minutes for this before I can ask my question.
Yes.
So, I wonder if you could talk us through some of I don't want us to miss out on the games or some of the other activities, the content before, we open up to people asking their questions.
Right. So very quickly, let me just run through all of this and just tell you the book is friendly, it's engaging, it's insightful, and out of the book came the money brain game. So let me just quickly finish that. And then, so what are the chapters in the book, so that you, again, get a good feel for what it is that you're getting. So the book kind of hits everything from choosing a course of study and a career to the beauty of internships, talks about that, talks about how do you choose between job offers, the importance of mentors, setting up your money, and that's where we now go into money management stuff, money versus faith versus family and friends. So again, you guys understand there's all sorts of dynamics that come into, how do you deal with, you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're whatever it is that you call yourself, you might even be an atheist. How does money play into all of that? And how do you now put that against, your family obligation and your friends who also need help from you, which I think Dr. Falakemi also talked about. You're trying to get money from someone. They're always going to ask, how much do you have? They're not going to just give you the entire amount. So very important to understand that. And all of us here, I'm sure, even with the fact that you don't make that much money, we are all doing what we call Black tax. We all give or support someone within our family. We all do that to a certain extent. Maybe not every month, but at least throughout the year, there's always some time that we just give to those in our family that don't have. So a lot of that is very important, and you need to build that. So why is that important to talk about? You need to build that into your budget. There's always going to be somebody asking for help, and what do you do about doing that, especially for family. And then it talks about love, dating, and money. Very important to understand that. And then marriage and money. We all know that that's not easy. Everybody wants to rush to be an adult. Everybody wants to rush to have their family, but nobody tells us about, it is expensive to do all of these things, and how do you do it well, and how do you manage it? So again, marriage and money is a great chapter on that. And then the dream of entrepreneurship. So after going through all of that, the school bit, the internship bit, the having mentors, setting up your money, your faith and the family and friends, love, dating, money, marriage and money, then you might want to now start a business. Or even while you're doing all of that, you have a dream of starting a business. So what are some of the things you need to know about starting a business? Because again, the author went through all of that. And that's why he's able to capture all of it in a very friendly, insightful way. And then planning to have kids. And of course, because this was all really targeting 20s and 30-year-olds, people within that age range. Planning to have kids usually happens around that age, even though I told him I do have friends in their 50s also having kids. So
well,
it's
yes,
something that we all need to understand. So anyway, so I won't go deeper into what it is. We can share this later in terms of what's really inside each of these chapters. But here's some of the testimony from people. Someone from Kenya said, "This has been a lifesaver. It has greatly helped me to put a stop to financial recklessness." So you can imagine how that person felt. Nadia from Canada, said, "Thank you for trying to make the book available to people outside of Nigeria." So again, the book is on Amazon, so it's really helpful. I have highly benefited from the questions that you provided, so that we will be able to ask ourselves the right questions. So again, the book has practical tools in that book. And then Aisha from Nigeria, this book is really amazing, and I wish I had this in secondary school. So again, this also helped us to start doing some work in the secondary school level in terms of developing curriculum for secondary school. While reading the first chapter, I realized I've never really asked myself most of these questions. And looking back, it would have helped me a lot. The author has really done a great job with making the content of the book relatable, and I strongly believe this book has so much potential. So again, that's an example of what we're hearing. So now the money brain part of the game. So the game was really designed to help you see how the education, your educational and money decisions could help you to either increase your net worth or decrease it. So at this point, I don't know, sorry, if it's someone on your end that could help to put the money.
So to click on,
yeah.
Okay. So if you stop sharing for a minute.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing.
We can go through the
straight
game.
to the money game.
Fantastic. Okay. So again, like we said, we've heard about strategies we can use. Now we're looking at the tools, the things that can help us increase our financial awareness and awareness of who we are as independent adults, as spenders and all, and we can use these tools. If you do the FACES test, it's very, very straightforward. It's really good. So you should have received the links now in the chat room. Okay. I think everyone can see my screen. There we go.
Please start the game. All right.
Okay. So
you're leading it for everybody, Dr. Joy. So we can just go straight. Yeah.
So our field of study is not here.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
We'll increase that.
Yeah, to include education.
Yes, we need to put education there. So now create a character. Now bring it up.
Okay. You take the biggest risk in your life when you're 20s to 30s. All right. Has
right
anyone
now?
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead, please.
So right now we're at 0. We have 0 network. So now we need to click on the various objects in the room to interact. So again, the question should come. So click on yes. It's time to go on to uni. What will you be studying? The first, A, a course that aligns with my passions. B, a course that has high employment prospects. Or C, a course that will give me time for extracurricular. Which one do you think? Which one did you click on?
C.
Did you click on it?
I thought I did.
Uh-oh. So go back to, let's see.
Maybe it's the network. See, technology. Some of these things we try and do. This is what happens to us in our classes when we try and do something. Okay, let's go back.
Yeah. Okay,
and
start
technology.
Again.
Yeah. So if this doesn't work, we'll skip it.
We can. Okay, there's another. Go. You see. All right. Yes. So
okay,
which
so
one?
let me click. I clicked on C.
All right. So go to the next, no, go to the next bubble. There's another bubble on a desk. The next one.
Ah, okay.
All right.
You
You're
are
given a
given
day's notice to make a presentation in front of your peers. What do? Make an excuse to get out of it, just do it, or ask for more time to prepare. Which one?
just do it.
Okay, click on it. Do
Yeah.
you see? You now increased your net worth by 100,000 naira. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Aha. So that's how the game works. So, and it should tell you, okay, so then the next one, look for more round circles. You've already done that one. There's
Oh,
another
okay.
one, by the clock. All right. Finals are approaching. What is your study plan? I'm busy with extracurricular, so I'll cram last minute. How many of us did that? Even as students, please raise your hand. Cramming last minute. Or you draw up a comprehensive timetable and you stick to it. Or I'm going to get a group of friends together and have a study with them, have a study group. So which one do you do?
Well,
Anyone from the audience, which one?
cram last minute.
Which one did you, last minute?
Yes.
So you see how
And I
your
lost
network,
50,000 naira.
exactly. So that's
Okay,
it.
so
So
that's
we
the
can
object
stop
of the
here.
game.
Yes. So we can stop here just in the interest of time so
Yeah.
that you can see that all through the game, there's always opportunities for you to increase your net worth or opportunities that would decrease your net worth because of choices that you're making.
Okay.
So that's what the game does. And so very quickly, let me again to interact with the audience. Do you have a specific financial goal you would like to achieve within the next 5 years? Why don't you share it with us on the chat? And then we can talk very quickly about it.
I mean, I think for most of us, really, our goal is to try and get our needs met. For us, financial as educators, a lot of us are in this job because of the passion we have for the young people, the children and young people we're working with. But our challenge is the take home is not taking us home. So the goal is really to be able to earn enough to follow the percentages of living off of 50 to 70 and saving, 20 to 30%.
20 to 30%, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, having this specific financial goal. I mean, we're educators, so some of what I'm going to say is like it's a no-brainer. If you don't have your goals in front of you, written, it's just going to be that thing in the air that you're planning for. So when we at Reach talk about specific financial goals, we're talking even be as specific as in the next 5 years. I want to have, $5 million in my account. That's specific. So that you can then every year, literally every month, every quarter, every year, you are tracking. What are you doing? What are the steps that you're taking to make sure that that money happens? Now, like you said, as an educator, the money that you're getting is not the math is not mathing for everybody. So
Yeah.
if the math is not mathing, what else can you do? Can you do can you teach on the side? Can you do other kind of an entrepreneur, find another passion that you have apart from teaching that you can do. So for instance, even being able to set up a digital training, in math or in English that you can offer to parents that, if your son or daughter is not doing well, I can help them with this extra credit that, but I can tutor them on the side, and then they pay you for it. And that's an extra income. And you put that away, you don't touch it. So that's the other thing. One of the things about that is very important, and I think Dr. Falakemi talked about it, that once you get that extra money, try as much as possible to put it right into savings and then start thinking. And as your savings starts to grow, that's when you now start to think about the types of investments that you might want to use or tap into. And some people would say you don't even have to wait until your savings grows. You can even start doing something with 100,000 naira. You can start creating content on social media with 100,000. So you don't really have to wait till you have 1 million naira in the bank that you've saved up to really start to now use that to make extra money. So those are some of the things that I think our tool, the planning tool. So even in the book, there's a template for writing out your financial goal and for tracking your financial goal. So that's something that is part of the book
That we will explore.
that you would look into. And then
Thank you so much. Our
yes.
admin people are telling me our time is up.
Time is up. Yes.
Honestly, thank you so
No
much.
problem.
I do appreciate that. So we have a book we can access. We have the links to the tests that can help you. You know, we're educators, so we do self-assessments. How much of a spender am I? Am I for me, when I did my test, if I look at my results again, I think I have a dominant. My dominant. Where is it? So my results, I'm an economist. Because I'm not an impulsive spender. So I normally, check and go out. I'm normally careful. And
Same here. I'm
I
an
don't like
economist too. I
you're
did
an
it.
economist. Okay, you did it. Fantastic. Okay, somebody in the group is saying they're an economist too. So see, is that a synonym for Ijebu in
No.
Nigeria?
What it means is like you value measurable fairness. You're naturally skeptical. You
Yes.
wade into the details to ensure that the scales are balanced towards you sometimes. So you really kind of, there's that kind of correctness that is a value to you, as an economist.
Okay.
So someone that is familiarity, for instance, what they value is, you value what is known, established, and backed by years of proof, tradition, and expertise. That's what, if your unique spending personality comes as a familiarity.
Okay.
There's affirmation, which, tells us that it stands, what others should aspire to access. It is about what wields influence over them. So the affirmation thing is about exclusivity, you want to stand out. You want to be,
Okay.
a carefree person. The C stands for, you value completion. Like I said, economists values correctness, and then social proof. They value, togetherness. Completion is about the carefree is about big picture. You value what is task-oriented and expedient. And for someone that's social proof, they value what promotes peace and brings people close together. You have, that person has a keen eye for whatever builds social connections. So those are some of the things that
I'm looking at the overview, and it seems like the economists are the smallest group in the world.
There you go.
So it sounds more like Ijebu, the people who don't like to spend money.
but it's also it's okay. But it's, I think at the end of the day, what the spending personality, just like any other personality test does, is there's no right or wrong. Is you
Fantastic.
embracing who you are at that moment. You might do this test again and find out that, oh, you've moved from being an economist to being more carefree. You never know. But it's, again, at that point, is you looking at who you are versus your financial wellness. You've done your financial wealth check, and you're now carefree when you used to be economist. what does that mean? And how is that playing into how you're saving your money, how you're doing your investments and et cetera. So that's
Thank
what
you
that is all about.
so much. That's amazing. Dr. Falake, there's a question. It's not even in the chat, but here from what we got. How do you acquire the discipline to save? Because so if I doing this health test, for example, okay, I'm an economist. Yeah, it may be easier for me to save, but for somebody who's carefree, how do they acquire the discipline and how did you do that to learn to save?
Okay, so I'll tell you one thing that I know has worked for a long time, and that is saving in a group.
Okay.
Finding a group of people to, so I mean, the teachers on this call, for example, I can see there are 40 participants. So, I mean, if you take out 2 of us that are guests, maybe
Yes.
38 or less, if there are other admin staff and all of that. So you can decide to save in a group. I have been part of a savings group since 2009. How many years ago is that?
Wow.
We started with saving. It was actually my younger sister that was part of the group. And then she got married and needed to relocate with her husband. And she needed somebody to take it over. So yes, there are some people that are natural savers. I've been saving since I was a child, right? Because
Wow.
I just knew that I needed to put, I don't know where I got it from. I just knew I needed to put something away because maybe there were too many times when I had to do without, in quotes. And I just
Right.
thought, okay, when I have something, maybe I should put something away so that I don't have to go through that,
To go
right?
without,
So maybe
exactly.
that is where that came from. But then, I mean, when my younger sister then introduced that group, I then joined. Since 2009, we're still saving. Now, do
Wow.
I still
15
need
years.
that? Yes. So do I still need it? No. But it is so much a part of me, and I've done all sorts of things with these savings because at the time when I joined, I needed it, and what we're putting away was not even a lot. I mean, what we're putting away every month, right? What I'm putting away every month right now in that group is like 8 times what we started with back then. And that is not all of my savings. I mean, I save a big part of because I have different investment things I want to put the money into. But trust me, there was a time when, I mean, I needed that savings. And every time I collected, I mean, this Agile thing, I don't know what name it's called. It's like a savings group is the best name I can give to it. And there was a time, I mean, that should be like in 2015 or thereabout 2013, when I actually opened a store, a supermarket, with the money, my collection from that savings. In fact,
Wow.
within a short period of time, I opened 2 stores in Yaba, meaning like neighborhood supermarkets, right? Before eventually, I mean, it was by the time I moved to this side of town, it was too difficult to manage. And so I sold the business to someone else to manage. But I mean, all I'm trying to say is there is a whole lot you can do because you are now pulling funds together. And what you are collecting at a certain point in time is maybe a whole lot more than what you have already put in. Right. So yes, you still have to give back the money, save it over time. But if you are one of the early collectors, then I mean, you can quickly take advantage of the fund. So that is one of
This
the easiest way.
cooperative. Okay.
Exactly, like a cooperative. That's one of the easiest ways to save. Save as a group if you can't do it by yourself. Find trusted people that you can all save together. And
Did
there
you
are,
do this with
I
people?
believe
I'm
there are
sorry to interrupt. Did you do this with people at work or like because when you say
at the
trusted
time we
people?
started, it was actually my younger sister that knew the people. I didn't know them.
Wow.
Eventually, it turns out if I mention some of the names, you will know them now. Because now, I mean, many people will know them now. But back then, we didn't know each other. I got to meet them through my younger sister. She knew them. She met some of them at a training she attended, and they started saving together. I joined them, and after a while, some of us became friends. Some of them attend the same church as we do now, which is why I said if I mention some of their names, you know them, and we've been saving since as far back as, and we are still saving even now.
Wow.
Right. So yes, a
Don't do it
savings group
alone.
works a
Is
lot.
the key.
Don't do it alone. If you find that you are struggling, you need help. There's no shame in asking for help. Do it as a group. you can invest as a group as well and own
Okay.
portions of different investments. Can start the online assessment center that I mentioned
Yes.
earlier. As a
Yeah.
group, please, once you start, tell me my son needs it. I
So
will
there
be
you
one
have
of your
it.
customers.
There's a ready avenue
And
for
I'm sure
business.
I have a lot of friends that will be too happy to just, I mean, sometimes you just want to see how your son is doing. And these days, many of us find that I can't even teach my son I can barely teach him anything. Even though we have similar interests. I studied engineering physics, right? He's very inclined towards science, but I can't teach him anything because the teaching methods are different.
Very different. Yes.
So if I have an online, and I also want him to be, I don't want him to be too dependent on an extra lesson teacher, because that was what we had before, and it became too dependent.
Yes.
But I want him to study and then have someone assess how he's doing. Maybe it's an online assessment, and I'm happy to pay per use if required.
We
So
are.
yes, I'm almost certain that there are a lot of parents out there who will be glad to patronize you if you do decide to come together and start something like
And
that.
that's something awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. I have a question for Miss T. You said when you've done these tests, or when we do these tests, sometimes let's call it our spending personality might change, or financial well-being, we might go off. So how often, for example, would you recommend that we take these tests, we do this financial wellness check? And do you provide, what do we call it now? Counseling, advisory services for the wellness?
Good question. So we usually do it on a client by client base. So as you can imagine, we've developed a curriculum for that's based out of this book, like I mentioned. And our curriculum part that I can tell you is 4 pillars. The first one is personal activation. The second one is personal financial hygiene. The third one is intentional career development. And the fourth one is early business and project management. So 12, so 3 courses in each of those pillars are, they're individual courses within the foundational pillars of personal activation, etc. And so these courses, so if we come to work with you as an organization or as a school, so for instance, one of the areas, very quickly, I'll share with you, we're going to be working with a private school in Ghana, and they wanted a few of our courses. Like I mentioned, we have 12 courses. So in that situation, we're going to be training the teachers. After training the teachers, we're also going to help them figure out how to incorporate it into use the curriculum to teach the students that they're teaching in that school. And that's where the coaching and the mentoring, the using the tools, that's where all of that comes in. So that's where we do that.
That's where we
In
can get
terms
it.
of how often, I would say similar to what you do to your own personal life. I would say, you do your wellness every year. So do your financial wellness also every year. But in terms of goals, though, I would say check your goals. The only way you can see whether or not you're going closer to your dream or to your goal is by tracking it. If you don't track it, you wouldn't know that you're getting to where you need to be. So I would even say weekly goals, weekly check, monthly checkup, and see, especially your financial goals, really kind of monitor it and then see what you're doing to achieve your goals.
Okay, so when you talk about checks, as an educator, the wheels are turning. We check we have our learning outcomes, and we check whether our students are attaining them. So from what you've both said, we need to set these goals, financial goals, and then set clear actions that we take towards the goals.
Absolutely.
Okay. Before Dr. Falakwe, I do want to ask you about that a little bit, how how you even go from the big and then break it down in little bits. But Miss T, you mentioned about that budgeting tool. Is that something we can look at now? Admin, I know we're running out of time. Can we look at the
It's inside the app. So, and I, just in the interest of time, I would just really, really encourage everybody to download the app. And just, one of the things that I didn't get a chance to share with you is also really looking at there's some what you call it, data that came out of why it is that, setting up your financial wellness and all of that, why that's important. 4 out of 5, I'll give you just one example. 4 out of 5 young people, in terms of young people that are, Africa's most population. We all say that in Nigeria right now, it's 60% of our population is young people. Across Africa, 4 out of 5 are 80%, they're 80% younger than 35 years across Africa. So, so you can imagine. In terms of income from salary work, we have 7 out of 10 young people who earn income from salaried work. 3 out of 10 young people are fully self-employed or building an SME right now. And then 3 out of 4 people support one or more within their family. So when I was talking about the Black tax, that was what that's all about.
Yes.
So in terms of really looking at the app really has literally, it even would ask you to put a goal there, in terms of what you're tracking, and it helps you to see month by month how you're spending your money. So if you're spending too much in entertainment, it will tell you that. There's a tracker for it within the app. If you're spending too much on food and less on education, if you're supposed to be a student or whatever all of that, it would show you that.
So this is the app I've opened, right? So there's a link in the chat room, guys. If you click on that link, it takes you right immediately to the app, and then you can download it. Remember, this free download is for Android devices, and it's only free for a limited time. So take advantage of this opportunity to download it as quickly as possible. Dr. Falakami, help us. How do we go from these big goals to narrowing down? I see someone has a question. If you don't mind, post your question in the chat room while we take this comment. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so I assume that this big goal is the goal of making more money.
Yes.
And ensuring that we're financially free. Trust me, I share the same goal. We have the same goal. We're in these boats together. And so like I said, I mean, I've run through 6 steps. And as you can see, the very next step after making some money is to try and do your budget. So I encourage you. I've not seen the app, but I believe from everything that Princess Toyin has said that it's a great one. So if you can use it to do your budget, you can at least
I
see where
see
the
2 people have
savings
said
can
they
be.
downloaded it already. Amazing.
Great, well done, guys
Well
and
done.
ladies. So do your budget, find where you can get savings, and the next thing you need to start thinking, where can I make more money? Do I want to do extra lessons? Do I want to I mean, go and act as a compare? Do I want to buy and sell products or books or whatever it is? Do I want to create this online assessment that I'm begging you to create so I can buy? Do I want to, what exactly do I want to do to make more money? Right? If you're able to identify it, trust me, if you ask people for help at that point, you will find someone that is willing to help you. Right? Because you have left the first stage of not knowing what you want to do, right? Or even if, I mean, you are still at the stage where you don't know what to do, but you have some money, no matter how small, even if it's 5,000 naira. I'm almost certain that everybody on this call can put 5,000 naira aside. Everybody on this call can put 10,000 naira aside.
Absolutely.
That is definitely enough to create a website where you can put something to sell, or buy data, or create something on Instagram where you can put something you can sell, right? You must find something you can sell. And one of the best things you can sell as a teacher is the knowledge that you have. The question is, how can you send it to more people? So that is putting it in bite size, like someone would say, how do you eat an elephant?
Yeah.
One bite at a time. One bite at a time. So you identify what you want to do. You have some money. If everything doesn't come together immediately, ask for help. I think one of the things we don't do enough, especially women, is to ask for help. It's something I had to consciously learn, to ask for help. Right now, I am very shameless about asking for help. I'm told absolutely. In fact, I'll say it myself that I can be shameless like that. So please come and help me. This thing you are doing, teach me. And I can learn from anybody. I can be absolutely shameless when it comes to asking for help now. But back then, it was such a struggle. I don't know whether I used to think that asking for help, what would the person think? Does it make me look like I don't know what I'm doing? Right now, I really do not.
Yes.
As long as it's going to get me where I'm going, I really do not care what anybody thinks. And so please ask for help. If you can't figure it out, don't struggle. There's no need to struggle. Ask for help. I am happy. I told Dr. Joy when she reached out to me that I'm happy to offer some assistance. If there's anything I can do to help, if it's to sit and do speech coaching. There was time I did 40 days speech coaching for finance professionals, people in my field that are just trying to go up, and we just get on a call at 4 o'clock every day on WhatsApp, and they will ask me all sorts of questions. How do I navigate this? How do I do this? How do I do that? And I just answer all the questions, and that is it.
Amazing.
We meet again the next day. So whatever it is I can do to support, I'm happy to support, but it doesn't have to be me. Anybody else that you think can help you, but find an idea. This is what I want to do. Find some money, no matter how small, if it's 5,000 naira, whatever the amount is, and then ask for help at that point. I'm sure you will definitely find someone that can help you take the next step and convert that idea into some money.
Amazing. Thank you so, so much. So thank you for that. Lovely. I love the idea. Speed coaching, get help. We'll put the details of our presenters in the chat room so you can reach them. So this is the online budget calculator that Reach has. So on the website, you can just access it. It says, okay, so let me just put that on there. Number of children. Okay. So I'm putting some information. How many people do you support? 3. Let's put it there. Okay, then I go to next, I believe. Okay, get a budget. See, so it's telling me, is giving suggestions on how much I should spend. Meanwhile, that 10,000 naira transport is not realistic in Lagos. If you live maybe in a more remote area, in a city, yeah, but the amount of money I spend fueling my car is about, like, I don't even know how much it is these days, because it used to be like 34,000 naira. Now that's
in
like
fact, we are going to rejig that based on the way Nigeria
The
is
new
doing
realities.
fantastic.
It's a real buzzword that Nigeria is doing all of us right now. So
Yeah.
we have to really look at how, in terms of what that would mean. But basically, it's what you put in that
Yeah.
the algorithm then helps you to kind of allocate how you should spend based on the amount that you put in. Yeah.
I think my internet is lagging a bit because I'm streaming online and all, but that's such a great, simple tool. Please, can we put the link to the budget calculator and the app in someone is saying they can't see the link. They might have joined
the link to the app,
yes,
the app, and all the tests.
Yes. So I've seen them in the chat room. I just want them to post them again, so that we can access them. Yes. Everyone who's registered, thank you very, very much. Thank you for joining. I know the internet has been logging people in and out like crazy. We have streamed on YouTube, so you can access the recording via our YouTube channel.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and it will be there. To all who registered, we will just send you a link, send you an email with the link via and we'll put in the newsletter as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Honestly, you know, you are as rich as your network, I have to say. And I'm so glad to have both of you as part of my network. Thank you for your support for us as women
Thank
and
you.
as educators. We really, really, really appreciate you. Guys, let's show our presenters some love. Thank you very, very much for presenting. We
Thank
really,
you.
really, really,
Having
really
us.
appreciate you. Thank you so much. Lots of so many nuggets to go and think about. We have to think about how we save. We have to think about how much we save, how much we're spending. There's so much to unpack in this. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. All right, ladies and gents, we've come to the end. I knew we would not keep to 90 minutes because this is such an interesting topic. Lots of questions, you know, to ask. Typically, we like to keep to 90 minutes, but this was well worth it. Happy International Women's Day to everyone who's joined us. God bless you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night, good night, good night, good
Good
night.
night.
Falakemi, look
Thank you.
forward to connecting with you. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. We should connect. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. We wish you an amazing evening. We also, okay, someone's saying you also want to connect with them. Okay. Please, can we have the links to the so we have, okay, I think I have that actually. Let's see if I can share that. So you can reach out to them on Instagram. I believe, okay. So it's in the chat room right now. So if you look in the chat room, you can reach out to our presenters on Instagram. There we go. Fantastic. So you can see Dr. Falake's handle and Princess Oluwatoyin's handle. You can reach out to them, reach out to us at ICED as well. And this webinar, we put it together based on the questions we received from you. People had been asking about financial support, financial advice, and that is why we found resource persons that could come and, you know, provide support and give us access to things that we may not ordinarily have been able to access. The recording is available. It is on YouTube. So if you check our channel, once we stop this live session right now, it will be available. And so you can access the recording. If you do want to get maybe links to the test again, please send an email to admin@isedafrica.org. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Group Captain Bello from Jos. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Remember, again, this is an opportunity to network. You can network with someone you've met on the webinar. We absolutely do not mind. So you can send us an email, admin@isedafrica.education. And, you know, whatever it is you need in terms of support, links to the webinar, we'll send the links, we'll send contact information as we go along. Oh, wow, you went to Hillcrest. Oh, good to know, good to know. We have Group Captain Bello, who is at the Air Force Military School, the head of the Air Force Girls, sorry, Military School in Jos. Fantastic, so we can connect. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. This was really, really amazing. So nice to see all of you. So many friends and educators and so many new names. Awesome, 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 awesome. Right, before my admin people tell me that I spent too long, we will stop the video right now.